Okay. Kia ora e te iwi, no mai hoki mai ki tō mātou wiki tua ono o tēnei wahanga. Kia ora everyone, welcome back to our 6th week of school this term. Just to kick us off, we'll start off with a quick karakia.
Pau hiri hiri, pau rārama, pau o te whakaaro, pau o te tangata, pau o te aroha, ko te pau e here nei I a tātou, haumi e hui e tāhiki. And I'd like to invite Mātua Andy to talk to us about the SS Otaki commemoration service happening on Friday.
Morena whānau, pleased to be back here in week 6. Thank you to our wonderful hosts for the day for Assembly. Before I get into my little discussion, I just want to say to you that we are experiencing an increased number of people who are having to self-isolate because of whānau contacts, or actually students that are getting Omicron. It's just one of those things at the moment. So please be mindful if we're going to look after one another. Make sure that we're sanitising, washing hands, wearing masks properly over our noses in classes, and really just trying to reduce that spread. So that would be fantastic. So today's going to be a little bit of a storytelling day about the Battle of the 10th of March 1917, SS Otaki and the SMS Merva. So, most of you won't know that the Otaki River has more ships named after it than any other river in New Zealand. And this is a story about the SS Otaki, the second of 4 ships named after our river. And it's about an engagement that took place back on March 10th, 1917. The engagement was between our shipping company, New Zealand shipping company SS Otaki, and the German auxiliary cruiser, the SMS Merva, which was one of the World War I's most heroic sea battles. It was an unequal fight between a lightly armed cargo ship with only one gun on the aft and a disguised warship. However, the captain of the Otaki, Archibald Bissett Smith, who was a member of, or used to go to school at Robert Gordon's College, was more than equal to the task. His heroism being recognised with a posthumous Victoria Cross and the enduring admiration of his adversary, the captain of the Merva, whose name was Donish Loden. So, what happened? On March the 10th, 1917, the Otaki was about 350 miles east of the Azores in the mid-Atlantic. She had left London carrying only a ballast and 71 crew. She was headed for New York. About 2:30 p.m. in the heavy seas and the rain squalls, the Otaki was spotted, which another freighter. However, Captain Smith was very suspicious, and he was aroused when the Merva altered course, and it was confirmed when the Merva, disguised as a merchant ship, broke out its battle ensign or a flag, recognising it as a German warship. Now, I have to say that on that ship, the SS Otaki, not only was there Bissett Smith, he had his stepson on board with him, and he also had a 14-year-old boy who had also gone to Robert Gordon's College in Aberdeen. His name was Essen Smith, so he's only 14 years old and 3 weeks out of school when this all occurred, and this connection is part of the link that we have back to Robert Gordon's College in Aberdeen. So what happened? Captain Donish Loden ordered the Otaki to stop, which the Otaki ignored. The Merva fired, and to the German surprise, the Otaki fired back. Most merchant ships the Merva encountered, and there were many in its illustrious career, simply surrendered. Captain Smith, a wily veteran of many voyages, was not so keen to give up easy. He ordered full steam ahead to outrun the Merva, but the Merva gained gradually. The Otaki continued firing its single stern-mounted 120mm gun manned by 2 Royal Marine gunners. The Merva was armed with 4 150mm guns and one 105mm gun, 2 torpedo tubes, and was loaded with 500 mines. Her crew of 235 were highly trained naval personnel. She also carried prisoners from another British freighter she had sunk earlier in the day. The Otaki scored 7 critical hits in the ensuing battle, one causing a fire which lasted 3 days and fortunately did not sink the Merva, otherwise those prisoners would have gone down with the ship. The Otaki took 29 hits from the Merva before it began to sink. Captain Smith ordered that the lifeboats be lowered, ensuring that his own stepson, Alfred Cluey, 17, was saved. It was ironic that this was to be Bissett Smith's last journey before he was going to Dunedin, where his New Zealand wife was waiting for him, and he was going to become the harbour master in the harbour of Dunedin. Anyway, that certainly didn't happen. The chief officer and the carpenter were the last off the ship. Their captain, however, remained in the Otaki and was last seen heading for his cabin. The ship sank with its captain and her colours still flying. 6 men of the Otaki, including Captain Smith, died in the skirmish. Our young 14-year-old Aberdenian, William Essen Martin, who was only 14, was last seen manning the gun. A huge act of bravery. In his captain log, the Merva's Donna Snowden described the battle as a duel gallant as naval history can relate. The Merva lost 5 of its own men. Despite heavy seas and being badly damaged, the Merva rescued the Otaki survivors, who spent the rest of their days in a prisoner of war camp in Germany. Out of many human tragedies that characterise war comes some good. And it's often because young people are presented with opportunities to avoid mistakes that in the past have had awful consequences. 20 years after the tragedy of the sinking of the SS Otaki, such an opportunity emerged. The captain of the Otaki, Archibald Bissett Smith, who was posthumously awarded that Victoria Cross, had a shield. His family had a shield made called the Otaki Shield, which was to be awarded to the head boy of Robert Gordon's college. In 1937, the Otaki Shield was presented to the college and was awarded for the first time, and the New Zealand Shipping Company brought the first Otaki scholar out to New Zealand. Shortly after the Shield's inaugural award, the New Zealand Shipping Company, later owned by the P&O, actually decided that this would be an ongoing event. So since 1937 up until 1939, we had an Otaki scholar. From 1939 to 1945, during the Second World War, they were unable to attend. And of course, after that, they continually have come to New Zealand, where they've been hosted, where they've been at this college for many years until 2020, when COVID hit. So this is an enduring tradition now that we have, and one with which we commemorate on the closest date to March the 10th. So this Friday, the 11th, we will again have our commemoration service, which will be attended by many merchant marine organisations. It will also have the British High Commission, the German Ambassador, the New Zealand Chief of Navy, a high-ranking New Zealand Air Force officer. So it's a pretty big day for us, as well as our local dignitaries. So please be mindful that this is a really important day for many people. Please make sure that you are highly respectful of any of our guests, and we look forward to hosting what has become a pretty big deal on the map in terms of merchant navy personnel. So if you're out there and you see everything getting organised, please be mindful of that, and I really appreciate the fact that you'll look after people coming in and out of the college on that day. That's all from me. The next thing that we might do is actually give you an outline of what that monument that you walk past every day stands for, but that's the story behind the monument, that's the story behind the Otaki scholar, and that's the end of the story from me. So I'll invite our wonderful host back now to continue with your assembly. Have a really cool week, look after yourselves, be kind to one another. Tēnā tātou.
Ngā mihi matua, Andy. So now we have a few notices. So this Wednesday we are having a non-uniform day. We are asking that all students to bring a tin of food to kaiarahi time on Wednesday as a koha instead of a gold coin. We are going to make up COVID care packages to deliver to whānau who are isolating. There's no theme, so come in whatever you like. So that's this coming Wednesday. And today at break 2, can all student sub-council members meet in Te Pūtahi Mātauranga for sub-councils. Next we have the last 2 netball trials for the year 9s to 13s. So there are 2 groups. So the first trial will be group 1, which is tomorrow, I'm assuming lunchtime. And then group 2 will be this Thursday, same time, I think. And the group lists are in the gym foyer. And then the last notice is that we have swimming sports this Friday, but it's going to be competitors only. So those of you who want to be competitive swimmers, can you please meet at the pool at 8:45 on Friday? Yeah, that's all the notices.
You can do that one. Okay. So the kia kaha winners for this week are from Mātai, we have Ava Anthony. From Totara, we have Frankie Grace. From Rimu, we have Zion Todema. From Cody, we have Sammy Cruther. And your kairahi teachers have your canteen vouchers.
Sweet, I think that is about it. So I will close us off with a karakia. Kia tau tātou katoa, te ato whai o tō tātou ariki ai hukraiti, me te aroha o te atua, me te whiwhinga teitanga ki te wairua tapu, ake, āmine. Kia ora everyone, have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you next week. Kia ora.